0517 local time. The forward radar console refreshes without a single warning tone. One contact separates into 2, then 4, then 8. For a moment, the bridge goes quiet. Ahead, the ocean looks empty, flat, steel gray. Nothing visible beyond the bow but open water. But on the screens, the picture is changing quickly. 8 surface contacts spread across the display. Bearings offset, speed increasing. Condition 3. The order is given calmly. No explanation is needed. Watertight doors cycle shut. The ship's posture changes with nothing louder than the muted shift of steel beneath boots. Everything is routine, right up until it no longer feels that way. The ship holds course. Radar tracks tighten. Closest point of approach updates every few seconds, and each new number moves in the wrong direction. These are not random vessels crossing open water. They are shaping toward an intercept. Electronic support measures begin recording emissions. Short pulses, controlled power, brief and deliberate. Someone out there is watching for a response. Contacts closing, multiple bearings, no raised voices, no rush. On a U.S. Navy bridge, urgency does not look like panic. It looks like precision. Hands move, eyes stay forward. The ship does not turn. On the surface plot, wakes begin to appear like pale lines drawn across the sea. 8 clean scars cutting through the water, gradually converging. Speed settles in the high 20s. The formation is disciplined, professional. Identification resolves one contact at a time. Russian Navy. The name is entered into the log. Nothing else changes. Distance drops below 10 nautical miles. The stretch of ocean between the hulls shrinks minute by minute. The wind over the bow carries no engine noise, but there is a faint vibration through the deck plates, quiet enough to feel before it is heard. A junior watchstander calls a bearing, another confirms it. Track numbers stack neatly on the display. No clutter, no uncertainty. The ship maintains speed. Long-range optics swing out and lock onto distant silhouettes, still more geometry than detail. Dark shapes against a brighter horizon. Low hulls, compact superstructures. No flags visible at this range. Bridge-to-bridge radio calls go out. Standard language, professional cadence, international protocol. No reply, only silence comes back. The 8 contacts adjust their spacing. One moves slightly ahead, testing the angle. Another drops back, holding position inside the formation. It is no longer a simple line. It is a box. Pressure from several directions at once. The captain looks from the plot to the horizon, then back to the plot. He does not raise his voice. He does not have to. The ship's systems are already working ahead of the moment. A mount rotates a few degrees. Not a threat, just enough to be noticed. The wake behind the ship remains straight. Electronic signatures flicker again. Brief, controlled, recorded, time-stamped, stored. Every pulse becomes evidence. Every decision leaves a trail. Distance to closest approach drops below 5 nautical miles. On deck, sailors are already at their stations. No running, no shouting, helmets checked, lines secured. To an outsider, it might look like any other watch. That is the point. The ocean stays calm. The sky offers no drama. Everything important is happening in numbers, spacing, and intent. One of the contacts increases speed by 2 knots. Another mirrors it. The formation breathes, tightens, then steadies. This is not confusion. This is coordination. 8 surface contacts, formation holding. The call is short, clean, final. The ship does not deviate. At 4 nautical miles, geometry matters more than distance. Angles now decide what happens next. A single degree of turn could rewrite the entire picture. The captain knows it. So does whoever is watching from the other bridges. No one hesitates. On the plot, 8 wakes are now fully formed, bright against the darker sea. 8 arrows closing inward. The box is nearly complete. The radio stays quiet. The ship holds its line, holds its speed, holds its discipline. This is the moment before the situation changes. When intent is obvious, but the next move is not. When steel, training, and restraint all seem to lean forward at the same time. No dramatic alarms, no sudden chaos. Just 8 ships, 1 ship, and a narrowing piece of ocean between them. The sea remains indifferent. The numbers continue counting down. 5:24 local time. The formation tightens. On the surface plot, the 8 contacts begin to curve inward. No longer parallel, no longer passive. Each vessel takes a slightly different vector. Spacing is measured. Angles are deliberate. It is not a pursuit. It is containment. Closest point of approach recalculates again. 2 contacts drop below 3 nautical miles. Another slides to port, changing bearing just enough to make the picture more complicated. The box is forming. The ship remains steady. Bridge-to-bridge calls go out again. Same wording, same cadence, same international protocol, nothing more. The radio answers with static and silence. And that silence matters. On the bridge, the officer of the deck follows the lead contact with 1 finger on the glass. The motion is slow, controlled. He does not need to look back at the captain. The ship's posture has already been chosen. Electronic support measures pick up another burst. Low power, directional. Someone is testing range without fully committing. The signal is captured, filtered, time-stamped, and logged. Then it vanishes as quickly as it appeared. No reaction. On deck, sailors shift their weight as the ship rides the swell. The sea is calm, but the wakes ahead are growing brighter and heavier. 8 ships pushing hard through the water, leaving white scars behind them. One contact edges closer than the others. Not the nearest yet, but the most assertive. Its bearing drifts by a fraction of a degree toward the ship's bow. Contact adjusting course. The call is acknowledged. No commentary follows. The ship maintains speed. Long-range cameras resolve more detail now. Angular superstructures, dark hulls, gun mounts silhouetted against the horizon. Still no flags, still no lights. Just steel, movement, and intent. The spacing compresses. 2 ships align on the starboard quarter. Another pair holds wide to port. The remaining 4 continue applying pressure from ahead. The geometry is clean. Someone planned this. At 2 nautical miles, reaction time shrinks fast. Out here, decisions can become irreversible in minutes. A turn now could be read as concession or escalation, depending on the angle. The helm stays centered. A quiet order moves through the ship. Stations checked again. Doors secured. Nothing dramatic. Nothing meant for the outside world to see. The box tightens another notch. One contact surges briefly, then settles back into formation as if confirming a boundary. Another mirrors the move from the opposite side. The timing is too precise to be accidental. The radio remains quiet. On the bridge, the captain finally speaks. Hold the line. The words are measured, almost unnecessary. Everyone already is. Electronic sensors catch a faint sweep. Surface search radar. Low dwell time. Careful. It is not fire control, not yet. But it is deliberate enough to matter. Logged. The ship's posture does not change. At 1.5 nautical miles, the picture stops feeling like geometry and becomes mass. Shapes on a screen become hulls with weight and momentum. Even without engine noise, their presence can be felt. 8 separate pressure fields pushing water toward the same center. The ocean narrows. A mount adjusts again. Barely noticeable, just enough to follow motion. It is not aimed. It is aligned. There is a difference. On the forward deck, sailors glance up, then return to their work. No one stares. Staring wastes time. The formation breathes, opens by a hair, then tightens again. The pressure box is complete now. 8 ships holding angles, speed matched, distance controlled. This is the test. Who turns first? Who hesitates? Who breaks the geometry? The ship does none of those things. Another hail goes out. Procedural. Recorded. No response. The closest contact crosses inside 2 nautical miles, then steadies. Its wake flares white. The angle stops changing. For 5 long seconds, nothing moves except the sea. Then the lead contact hesitates by a fraction. Speed drops by 1 knot. Almost invisible. Almost deniable. The box holds, but the tension shifts. Everyone on the bridge sees it. No one says it. The ship keeps its course, cutting straight through the center of the pressure. This is not about force. It is about who controls the space without touching it. The box has not opened yet, but it is no longer tightening. 0531 local time. The ship does not accelerate. It does not turn. It does not answer pressure with pressure. That choice becomes visible immediately. On the surface plot, the 8 contacts adjust again, each one compensating for a reaction that never comes. The geometry they built depends on response. Without response, their angles begin to lose meaning. Electronic support measures light up briefly. Another probe, narrow beam, short duration. A quiet question, hoping for a loud answer. There is none. Every emission is captured. Direction, power, frequency, logged without comment. This is not theater. This is record keeping. On the bridge, the captain keeps his eyes on the horizon. His hands never touch the console. He lets the ship do what it was trained to do, hold. Below decks, the Combat Information Center hums at a controlled pace. Track numbers remain stable. Bearings update cleanly. No spikes, no panic, just data flowing into structure. Contact behavior unchanged. The report is factual, nothing more. A decision moves through the ship without needing to be spoken. The next step is presence, not confrontation. The helicopter crew is already strapped in. The flight deck comes alive with quiet purpose. Chocks are pulled. Rotors begin to turn. Blades slice the air with a sound that carries farther than any radio call. The aircraft lifts cleanly, nose down, accelerating low over the water. It does not rush. From the surface contacts, the helicopter is impossible to ignore. It is not aggressive. It is not evasive. It is simply there, an extension of the ship's awareness. The aircraft holds a steady altitude parallel to the formation. Sensors are already active. Optical systems lock onto hulls, decks, and superstructures. Faces become shapes. Movements are cataloged. Nothing is missed. A green laser pulses once, steady, unmistakable. It touches the bridge windows of the nearest ship. Not a threat, a marker. We see you. A broadcast follows. Calm, standard, recorded. No answer comes back. The helicopter keeps its distance, matching speed, orbiting wide enough to stay safe and close enough to be undeniable. Every second adds clarity. Every frame becomes evidence. Below, the 8 ships hold formation, but the shape is not as tight anymore. Small corrections ripple through the line. Micro adjustments, less coordinated, less confident. The pressure shifts. One contact drifts half a degree off its previous heading. Another compensates late. The symmetry that once defined the box begins to fray. On the bridge, no one comments on it. The ship continues straight through the center of the space they tried to control. Electronic sensors catch another emission, slightly stronger this time. Still not fire control, still careful, still probing, logged. The helicopter swings to the opposite side of the formation, keeping its orbit smooth and deliberate. The laser pulses again for a brief moment, then goes dark. The message has already been delivered. This is not escalation. This is documentation. At 1.8 nautical miles, the nearest contact eases its throttle. The wake shortens. It is subtle, but physics does not negotiate. Speed reduction. 1 knot, another contact follows, then another. Not synchronized, not announced. The box loosens. On the radio, there is still silence, but the silence has changed. Silence can sound confident. It can also feel uncertain. This one begins to lean toward the latter. The helicopter holds position for one more full circuit, then climbs slightly and widens its orbit. It never crosses bows, never forces a maneuver. It does not need to. The ship never changes speed. This is what trained restraint looks like. No alarms, no dramatic warnings, no sudden moves, just a steady posture, forcing the other side to choose between risk and reconsideration. At 0540, the surface plot tells the story before anyone says it. The 8 contacts are no longer converging. Their bearings are drifting outward by fractions of a degree, small enough to deny, but large enough to matter. The pressure box has cracked, not broken, cracked. The helicopter turns back toward the ship, still recording, still watching, still calm. The deck crew is ready before it arrives. Every motion is rehearsed as the aircraft recovers. The ship's profile remains unchanged, course steady, speed constant, wake straight. No one celebrates. There is nothing to celebrate. This was never about winning a moment. It was about proving that noise does not move steel. Discipline does. And out on the water, 8 ships are beginning to understand that. 0546 local time. The first change is almost invisible. On the surface plot, one contact's speed ticks down by a single knot. No announcement, no radio call, just a number changing where it was not supposed to. A moment later, another contact mirrors it. Not in sync, not coordinated. Reaction, not command. The ship keeps its line. 8 hulls are still there, still close. But the geometry that defined them is loosening. Bearings widen by tenths of a degree. Spacing stretches. The pressure that once pushed inward now leaks out through the sides. The ocean notices before the bridge does. Wakes shorten. The white scars behind 2 ships fade from hard lines into softer curves. Water tells the truth early. Speed reduction observed. The report is logged. No commentary follows. The helicopter remains overhead in a wide orbit. Sensors steady. It does not chase the change. It lets the change reveal itself. The aircraft's presence is constant, not demanding. Enough to remind, not enough to provoke. Another contact eases back. Then a 4th. The box opens. This is the moment where things can still go wrong. A sudden turn, a late correction, a misunderstood intention. Any of it could collapse distance faster than anyone can react. The bridge knows it. So does every other bridge within 2 nautical miles. The ship does nothing different. Then a radio transmission finally breaks the quiet. Short, formal, non-committal. The words are procedural. The tone is careful. There is no accusation, no demand, just a statement of presence. It is acknowledged by the recorder and nothing else. On the plot, the lead contact's bearing drifts outward another degree. Small, but now undeniable. The line abreast is gone. What remains is a loose arc. No longer centered, no longer closing. The ship passes through the space that used to be controlled. On deck, sailors continue their work without looking up. Lines stay tight, hatches remain secured. This is what control looks like when it has been practiced long enough to become instinct. Nothing changes because nothing needs to. Electronic sensors go quiet. No more probes, no more questions asked in whispers. Whatever answers they were looking for have already been given. At 2.5 nautical miles, the nearest contact turns a few degrees away from the ship's track. It is not a retreat, it is a concession without words. Another ship follows. Then another. Each one chooses separation over compression. The formation does not fall apart all at once. It unwinds ship by ship as if each vessel is reluctant to be the first to leave. The helicopter climbs slightly and slides farther out, keeping all 8 contacts in view. The camera keeps rolling. Timestamps move forward. Nothing is missed. The ship's wake remains straight. At 05:53, the surface plot tells a very different story from the one it told 20 minutes earlier. The 8 contacts are no longer closing. Their vectors diverge, spreading into open water. Distance increases by tenths of a mile, then by full miles. The pressure box is gone. What replaces it is space. No signal marks the transition. No command announces it. It simply happens when one side refuses to be moved. The ship continues on its original course, cutting through the last of the disturbed water. Behind it, the ocean smooths itself out quickly, as if the tension had never been there. On the bridge, the captain gives a single nod. Not a signal, an acknowledgement. The helicopter turns inbound. The recovery pattern is already set. The deck crew is ready before the skids touch down. The aircraft settles onto the deck, rotors slowing, sensors powered until the final moment. Everything is logged, every bearing change, every speed reduction, every hesitation. No one speaks about victory. There is no victory here, only completion. On the horizon, 8 ships continue drifting apart. Their wakes thin, their angles widen. They remain visible, still present, but no longer shaping the space around them. The ship does not watch them go. It does not need to. It holds speed, it holds course, it holds the line. It never left. The turn has already happened. And it did not come from the ship that stayed steady. 0612 local time. The ocean closes behind the ship. Wakes fade first. Then the disturbed surface settles. Steel gray returns to uniform calm. From the bridge, the horizon looks unchanged, as if nothing passed through it at all. But inside the ship, everything has been captured. In the Combat Information Center, tracks are archived, bearings are finalized, speed changes are plotted against time. Every emission, however brief, carries a timestamp, a direction, and a signature. There is no rush. Precision work does not hurry. The ship remains at condition 3 for a few minutes longer. Not because danger is still close, but because transitions matter. Procedures unwind in the same order they were tightened. One station at a time, one system at a time. Watertight doors cycle open. Helmets come off. Gloves are stowed. No one congratulates anyone. This was not an achievement. It was execution. On the bridge, the officer of the deck reviews the log. The captain stands beside him, eyes moving between the screen and the sea. He does not linger on the contacts now drifting miles away. They are already irrelevant. What matters is the record. The helicopter footage is reviewed briefly, angles are clean, distances are verified, no aggressive maneuvers, the laser pulses are visible, controlled, undeniable. The aircraft never crossed a line it had no right to cross. That matters later. Below decks, sailors return to the rhythm of the watch. Coffee is poured, checklists are completed. The ship settles back into the quiet efficiency that fills the hours between moments. Outside, the 8 ships are still there, but farther now. Their formation is gone. They are individual hulls again, each with its own wake, its own vector, its own decision to make. They do not follow. The ship continues on its original heading, speed unchanged. There is no course correction to mark the encounter's end. No ceremony, no punctuation, only continuation. This is how these moments end. Not with noise, but with absence. No alarms, no broadcasts. Just the quiet certainty that space has been defined and held. In the log, the encounter fills several pages. Time, distance, behavior. All of it factual. No adjectives, no interpretation. That comes later, if it comes at all. For now, the ship moves on. The ocean does not remember pressure, it remembers passage. The surface behind the ship is already indistinguishable from the water ahead. From a distance, no one would know 8 warships once tried to shape this piece of sea. That is the point. Professional restraint does not announce itself. It leaves no debris, no scars, only data, decisions, and outcomes. Somewhere beyond the horizon, 8 ships turn onto separate headings. Their task remains unfinished, but their question has been answered without a word. They tested a boundary. The boundary did not move. On board, the watch changes. New eyes take the same stations. The instruments show the same calm sea they always show. To anyone stepping onto the bridge now, it would look like just another morning, and that is the final measure of success. Not dominance, not spectacle, continuity. The ship holds speed, the ship holds course, it holds nothing else. The wake disappears completely. Ahead, open water.